these guys have one major issue. What's the status, everyone? It is Fixed Status, back with another video. And today or tonight, we're going to be talking about some really awesome army builders that I did not expect to get so early. These guys weren't showing up over here for quite a while. They kind of just, from what I've seen, is that I think the Black Series stuff is starting to get released like really early. Where really everything is starting to get released really early. It's very weird. These I didn't expect to get over here for another couple of months because I just started seeing people like in Canada get them like maybe 2 weeks ago. So usually it takes a couple of months for us to get them here in Florida. So I was surprised. I had gone on the Target app and just magically these things were on there and ready to pick up too, like they were at the store. So I did get 2 of them. As an army builder and as seeing that I'm in an army builder craze, I'm probably gonna get maybe 4 more of these. They're really dope. I need to replace my Mando because I originally had one. I didn't like the Black Series one. So I'm trying to get an SH Figure Arts one so that way I can fight these guys. Or that new Luke Skywalker that's coming out. Hopefully he'll be good, so I can pair him up against these guys. Let's move the camera back just a little bit here. Yeah, no, but these guys are really nice. I really dig the deco on them. Let me just kind of get some change of lighting here. I really like the deco, the glossy black. Black Series is known for one thing. They just apply gloss on anything. It doesn't matter. Skin, armor, clothing, it doesn't matter. You have gloss on you, unless it's like, you know, soft goods. But you know, the gloss fits these guys really well, almost too well, because you'll notice as the footage goes on and as I handle these, there's going to be fingerprints all over them. But they were really good, really cool addition to the Star Wars universe as a whole. In Mando, I mean, they've been in the extended universe for quite some time, but we hadn't really had them realized in live action or anything up until a couple years ago, or I think it was maybe a year or 2 ago, in the Mandalorian show, where these things came in force and they were huge, and they were something to deal with. You know, people argue that Luke Skywalker kind of dealt with them a little too easily. I mean, they're droids at the end of the day. He has a lightsaber, and he's Luke Skywalker. He's not just a random Jedi. He's one of the most powerful Jedi that ever lived. He does have Skywalker blood after all, so he's not just a pushover. So I like that he handled them with ease. Aside from that, the figures are really cool. One thing I do give credit to the Black Series team. They are not afraid to do new sculpts, and I mean, I think they don't really have a choice because there's like very little reuse on here, if any. But they do a really good job with the sculpts, and they also implemented articulation into this really nicely, except for one point, which you already seen in the intro. But yeah, let's get into it. So I'll move one back because I kind of like the pose he's in, and I'll deal with this guy here. So number one, they do come with some cool accessories. So they do come with guns. So they're blasters here. They kind of give off like a pump shotgun vibe, but no, they're repeaters. They will shoot fairly quickly here. You also, I'll put that here. You also get 2 blast effects because I'll show you in a minute. These do peg into the feet, and they also come with fists as well, because as you saw in the show, they like to punch things, and they will punch down pretty much anything: doors, steel, Beskar, whatever. But yeah, so let's just get into it, man. far as the Deco is concerned, this is another super high rating for me. I really like the way the gloss looks. The armor is super, super, super nicely sculpted. There's so much detail into this thing. Like even there's pistons in there. There's all kinds of buttons. There's painted red on there. You see on the side, I don't know if you can see that, but there's all that sculpting in there, like kind of like intricate work going on the inside. Not really much to say other than it looks very, very faithful to what appeared in the show. Let me just go over the articulation real quick because I really do like the articulation setup on this guy. As customary with a lot of Black Series figures that I'm starting to see nowadays, they do have the double neck ball pegs, or whatever you want to call them. You'll hear me say in quite a few videos that that's my favorite setup because I'm spoiled from import figures doing that, and I'm really liking, seeing a lot of domestic companies start to do this and adopt this, and of course the biggest company of them all is starting to adopt it, so it's really nice. So that setup is cool. Awesome diaphragm ball joint in there too, so you can kind of get some organic movement, even though these are robots, or these are droids, droids. They get that organic movement. These things will move much more organically than some of your Marvel Legends, ironically enough. Get very decent 90-degree motion. The joints are really smooth. People don't really mention that about these, but the joints are really smooth. They can't go past 90 just because of the way the actual, can't really see because it's there's no light there, but just the way that's sculpted, it won't go past 90. But of course you can just lift that up. Not that you would want to, because you have these pauldrons in the way, which are hinged. Since these are droids, there's no limit to how their arms bend, so they can literally just 360 all the way around. They can bend, inhumanly. I don't know if that's the word, but unnaturally, so to speak. They can bend pretty much any way, and I really do like that setup because it just gives you the freedom to kind of pose this thing in any way, shape, or form you want, So I like that. I like that setup in the arms, and also it makes it easier for them to hold their guns and everything, so that's really cool. So really, really nice. It does come with trigger fingers and a cupping hand this time, so an actual hand that'll hold a gun. That's pretty awesome. So, Star Wars, again, that's something that they're getting right before G.I. Joe somehow. I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said before, diaphragm joint there, ball joint. You get some pretty decent splits for a droid. You can't really get all the way to 90 because there's this armor piece here. It's kind of hindering it. But you can move it over and get that 90. So that's good. And then look at the detail in there. That's just awesome how they got all of that behind this leg shell, I guess you could call it. So that's really cool. There's just details on here I haven't even seen, and I've had these figures for a couple of days and messed around with them. The knee, just because of the design, you can't really get it past, you can't even really get it to 90 there. And that's okay. For me, I don't really mind too much, but again, more range is always better, sometimes. And then you also have that same hinge for the foot there, and it goes all the way back, goes all the way forward. But this is really the Achilles heel, no pun intended, for these figures, because I don't know if this is indicative of or congruent with all of the figures, all of these, or if this is a issue that other people have with them, but both of mine that I have here, they have a real big problem, bearing weight on those two joints. They will just flip and flop. Okay, well, it's not doing it now, but they will just flip and flop at the drop of a dime, and somehow I got them to stand after all of that. But I guess I'll just have to put some joint fix on there and get that squared away. This one is fine, but this one is just like, I can just kind of do that there. So we'll work on that. It's not something that's unfixable. So, but yeah, this thing is cool, man. It's cool. I don't know about the $31 price, because they're marketing this as a deluxe when honestly, it's really only coming with, you know, things that would come with our standard figure. Like this is like all of these accessories I just showed you would really only would come with a GI Joe. You know, maybe a Marvel. Well, yeah, Marvel Legends, because sometimes they come with power effects and all that stuff. It just depends. I don't know, $30, $31, $32. Not. I don't know about that one, Skipper. I don't know. I don't know if that one's really. If that's really the move there. But you know, it's a cool figure nonetheless. I don't know if you'll really kind of see them cheaper than $30. And then I mean, I've been seeing these for like 50 on the aftermarket, and I'm glad I kind of waited because I didn't really know what I was getting into with this figure. I mean, I knew I wanted it since the time I saw that it was announced, and you know, me liking army building, I was going to gravitate towards this figure. And then it's Star Wars anyway, so anything to fight Luke Skywalker, which I will get shortly, you know, I'm all about it. And then just to show you really quickly the blast effects, I almost forgot. The blast effects fit really, really nicely in there, and I knocked them over, dang it. But like I said before, they do have ball joints on there so that they can kind of move around and get some range in there. So that's really cool. That's really awesome. And I like that they added that. I mean, it's something that they could have skipped on, but they knew that this was a prerequisite for this figure to exist. You have to add, I mean, that's one of the main things that those things were doing in the show, was flying around, flying in space, you know, just coming into take some names there. So I got one in really the traditional stance that these things would be standing in, and then this is more of an animated, like this is not a stance you would see a Dark Trooper in, because they are droids. They don't really have the need to be as dramatic as this, but you know, this is just to kind of show you, man, they can get into some nice organic poses there. And then just to kind of stand them up next to, let's see, what do we got for size? We gotta get them next to a stormtrooper there, his inferior kin. They're not as big as, I might have to rewatch the show, because this is not really making them look super big. Like in person, I can tell that it's towering over this, you know, stormtrooper, but on camera, I don't know. It's not exactly as imposing. Maybe if I do like a head on. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that actually does a little bit more justice there. Sticking with the robotics theme, let's go ahead and let's get this guy in here. He's towering over him pretty much too. Actually, no, they're about the same height. I just had the head looking down. They're about the same height. Yeah, like maybe like an inch shorter, if anything. But they're pretty much shoulder to shoulder right there. That's cool. Get a little Ultron action in there. Ultron is a beast. Look at that. And then, you know, just for fun, get some more robotics. Some more robotics going. You know, if any of my photographers are out there, these are definitely some really cool things to pick up. Like I said before, I might get like 4 more. But yeah, these are really cool. I really like them. I like the way they came out. Like I said before, my main gripe would be the ankles. That takes it down a notch for me. If I were to rate them, I'll give them 8.5. I give them 8.5. Number one being ankles are kind of loose on mine, but that could just be a me thing. Number two is the price for what we're getting. Like I said before, you're getting a gun, 2 effects, and then 2 hands. For 30 is kind of, I don't know, you're reaching there. But hey, that's just me. I'll just go ahead and incorporate that into the rating. As far as the figure is concerned, other than the ankles, this thing is fantastic. It looks beautiful. It's a 10 out of 10 as far as the deco is concerned. It's super accurate to what we saw on the show there. But yeah, other than that, not much more to say on them. It's real simple. Army builders, get them if you can. Do not pay over the retail price for these. Don't do it. They're cool, but they're not like I'm paying $50 for them. No way. Like I said before, you know, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comments what you guys want me to show off next. If you want me to get anything, if you want me to keep my eyes peeled for anything, or just any recommendation for figures that you guys like. I'm keeping my mind open, you know, definitely. And, you know, follow me on Instagram at figstatus. I'm there, fig.status. I'll put it up somewhere here on the video. But I appreciate you guys coming out, showing love, and yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Fig Status out.